Well, hello there, and welcome back to Rare Classic Cars. No, you're not seeing triple. You are seeing three of, well, very similar cars, shall we say. Three 1968 Mercury Park Lane Broughams, and you know that if you've been watching this channel, I enjoy these. I think Fords of this era are some of the best built vehicles, great driving cars, and everything on them, the quality is just so great. The door gaps and body fits and everything are great, and then you close the doors and you just have a very, very solid sound. You can push it with one finger and the doors close on all these. Can't do that with a GM car of the era. It's just amazing. So I've amassed these over a period of time. I had no Park Lane Broughams. I always wanted one. I grew up watching Hawaii Five-0, thought they were a cool looking car, and I wanted one. And they're extinct. They made so few of these in total, and so few survived. Then a friend found this one in Maine. That's where this one came from. And I bought this one, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And then a YouTube viewer knew that I loved Park Lane Broughams, and he had restored this one. So this came all the way from California. He did a beautiful job on the paint, and he rebuilt the engine and transmission, the whole suspension. Wasn't a high mileage car either. He just was really into it. And then after time, he was kind of aging out, shall we say, and was looking to place it in a good home. And so I bought this one from a YouTube viewer. And this one I've known about. I actually knew about it when it was for sale in Wisconsin. Then a friend bought it in California, hence the California Brougham license plate. I do have this licensed in my local state, but I'm keeping the license plate on it for now from California because I like that. It's kind of cool. And yeah, so then he owned this car, I think maybe 8 years, and decided to sell it to me after that period of time. And the cool thing is this is a factory 428 car, factory black with red interior. Very rare. They only made, I think, about 800 black cars, of which 400 were Park Lane Broughams. So the black is very, very rare. And then I want to say less than 100 or somewhere around 100 were Broughams with the red interior, something like that. And then if you want to say how many were black with a 428, with the red interior, I think it's around 15 or 20 at most. This one came all the way, it was a dealer order in Saskatchewan, I believe. And it must have been a dealer demonstrator for a dealer principal because it has about every option on it, including the 428, which is rare for Canada. You really never see the big V8s ordered in Canada because gas prices even back then were relatively high. But it has the tilt wheel. You can tell by the kinked gear shift there. Air conditioning, which would have been rare for Saskatchewan in that particular time frame. 8-track radio, cruise control. It also has power disc brakes, power steering, the visual check panel down there. Power windows, not power vent windows. I think it's power seat. Yeah, power seat. The dealer installed remote trunk release, which works great. You just pull up on this and your trunk's released. They also had an electric version too, but that's a cable operated version. Actually, I think that this little placard in the trunk says how many were made. Yeah, so here you go. One of 345 actually that were made in black, 52 that were made with black with the red trim, this Park Lane Brougham trim, and 1,337 with the 428. So very, very rare. And that's for all Park Lane Ford or hardtops. You got to cut these figures in about half if you want to tabulate how many were Broughams. So that's the story of this car. Again, very loaded vehicle, 428. It's an emissions delete car because it's a Canadian car. So it doesn't have the preheater, has the 1967 style air cleaner, and I know it's got chrome valve covers on here. I was talking to some friends from Canada, and apparently in Canada, the chrome valve covers are actually stock. So that was not true for the US vehicles. But in Canada, for whatever reason, that apparently was true, as was the emissions delete for the car. This also has the 6-second delay starter relay on it. So if you try to key the starter and it doesn't start, you have to wait 6 seconds before you can key the starter again. It's to protect the battery, because this 428, this was only on 428 cars. This 428, apparently it's the same starter, and it's a high compression engine, and it would kind of tax the battery cranking it. So it's trying to give the battery some time to recuperate. And this one's had a new brake booster. There's the cruise control. Obviously, the air conditioning 2-piston compressor has been replaced there. That's the heater water valve that is now impossible to find. If anybody's got spares, let me know. I'll take them. I have plenty of these cars and Fords from this era. This controls the coolant flow by vacuum. So you move the slider bar inside, and then that moves this heater cable right here, which then controls the vacuum that goes there. So more vacuum lets more coolant in, and you get hotter air. Kind of the old school way of doing it. Just a menacing looking car. Now this one is also a Q code 428 car. These both were born 428. So you can tell a 428 on these because it has Q as the 5th letter/digit of the VIN. And you'll see this one also has that. The red car is a 390 car. So there you go. This one's a Q code as well. Now this one originally came from the Denver area, which is where a lot of the Q code cars came from because it was high altitude. And this one was ordered with the factory trailer tow package. So it has a Z code C6 transmission, which I didn't even know existed, which is a heavy duty C6. And you can see the transmission code there is Z and C. This car, at one point, somebody had repainted it a horrible color, this brown. It actually was born a nugget gold, and then the seller who sold it to me, who restored it, painted the whole thing black, and he painted everything black. I mean, the fender aprons, he took everything apart on this car. The door jambs, I mean, he did an excellent job. You have no idea. It actually was born, like I said, a nugget gold with a factory black top, which would have been a handsome car with this interior. This one's also pretty loaded, has the tilt steering wheel, cruise control, power disc brakes, power steering, AM/FM radio, power windows, not power vents. I think yep, power seat. I think these cars both have manual seats on the passenger side. That red car has power seats on both sides. And this has the optional dealer kind of Guidematic automatic headlamp dimmer. So when the headlights are shining into this from an oncoming car, then it automatically dims the headlights. And again, the seller just did a beautiful job on this car. All of the trim. This is the hardest part of these cars to find. If anybody's got some of this NOS trim, email me and let me know, because it's impossible to find this kind of fake wood grain. Thankfully, these cars all have good trim with no dents or dings, but I drive these cars because I enjoy driving them, and I hope nobody messes it up in a parking lot. This, by the way, is the optional wire wheel disc that this car has as well. And this, I think, is stock for Canada. In 1968, they outlawed spinners in the US. So it's actually not correct for the US. Same wire wheel disc, but without those 3 spinners is what they had. These are 67 discs that I found. This car came standard with the regular wheel disc, but I like these fake wire wheel discs. I think they look good on the car, so I put it on there. Here's the standard disc, which also looks good. And this one, if I pop the hood, you'll see This is the US 428 with the preheater, air cleaner, and everything. Notice no chrome valve covers. Has the double radiator for the trailer tow package. I mean, this thing is not overheating anytime soon. And this is just a great, great drive. Obviously AC, the cruise control has a new master cylinder on it. I think that brake booster is probably rebuilt, looks a little bit newer too. Here, we'll start one of these up too so you can hear it. Oh yeah. Sounds great. Dual exhausts on both of these. Actually, I put dual exhausts on all of them. Get a little bit more power. Sounds good. And then this one is a lower option car. It was a Maine car, no air conditioning. The other two have air conditioning. It has power seats on both sides, an AM radio, disc brakes, power disc brakes, no tilt wheel, no cruise control, not really much of anything else. So it's a pretty basic car. This one also has the standard seat belts that aren't color-coded. They're black. These other cars have the optional color-coded seat belts. You had to pay more for that. And yeah, just an excellent seat here. We'll take a look. This one has the 390. Like I said, 390 is 315 gross horsepower. Came standard with 319 premium fuel, 4 Venturi V8. And then the 428, which was optional, was I think 345 horsepower. So you get a little bit more scoot with the 428s. They're both pretty peppy. Again, you can see no air conditioning compressor here. Different brake booster too. Ford had a ton of brake boosters on these cars, all different ones. I don't know why. And then a newer master cylinder, which I had to put on. Probably the most common thing I'm replacing on these. Usually carburetor rebuilds, tune-ups, ignition points. Yes, this still has ignition contact points in it. Yes, I know I can use the Petronic setup. I have seen those die though sometimes. And I don't mind points. I just change it every couple years. It's no big deal. It's like a 10-minute job. And they're $15, $20, something like that. And then you're good to go. This one does have intermittent wipers too. Does this one? Nope, no intermittent wipers on this one. But that one does have intermittent wipers on it. And notice the non-AC car has just this really small radiator here. I did have this record. It never overheats, and there's no declutching fan. But again, it works fine. The car never gets hot, ever. Never encountered that, even on hot days where I've driven it. And it sounds good too. Let's see here. Super smooth. Oh yeah. Listen to that exhaust. Never leave your Ford running like this. You should not do this, by the way, because they have a tendency to pop in reverse, especially if you open and close the door. All right, so we'll start this one up. Notice I reach in, they all start up. Oh yeah. Let's see here. There we go. It's just a little cold. I have the choke adjusted pretty lean. Sometimes they get a little sticky in the warmer weather on these. So there you go. 2 428 Park Lane Broughams and 1 390 Park Lane Brougham. Which one is your favorite? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? And like I said, if anybody's got this trim, let me know, or any parts, any NOS parts. They are so hard to find, like these end caps and everything. Or if you have the faux wood grain IP, I will happily pay you for it. So these are my favorites. Very well built cars, unknown, look great, great driving. Just doesn't get much better. Thanks again for watching.